Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Talk with G. And this is G. And in our today's episode, I'm having my favorite faculty of all the time. And I will have so much to say about him. I have so much to talk about him. But at first, I'm going to give him a chance to introduce himself to you all. So here you go. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Egla Himes.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Okay, so thanks for having me. First of all, thanks for this
Mhm.
opportunity. I feel really pleased and delighted to be here.
I'm happy you're
And
here.
yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, so my name is Daniel, and my second name is John. So people call me Mr. John or Daniel or Dan or
Oh, Mr.
D,
D.
whatever that is. She calls me Mr. D,
Yeah.
right? Whatever. So I teach verbal ability here in Geetham University, Bangalore, Karnataka. So people call me a verbal trainer or a friend. I can say. So I'm different things to different people. Let's say.
And speaking of, you can be a lot of things to everyone. I mean, to me, you have positions that maybe you might not know them, and I'm gonna reveal it today. I consider him as my mentor, as my friend, and as my brother, as anything, name it, because he has been there throughout. It has been over a year, and he has been great. That's why I call him my favorite faculty of all the time.
Yeah.
So let's get this started.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks for those kind words. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Personally, I believe in first impressions. The way I interact with somebody in the very first place means a lot to me. Do you consider it the same way?
Absolutely. That's why they say make the first impression the best impression, right? That's going to last for a lifetime, right? So
Yeah.
you whether you like that person or you hate that person or you dislike that person, it all depends on that first impression. That's going to last long.
Yeah, so somebody's first impression with me, it helps me to know the way that I'm gonna react with them and I'm gonna relate with them in a long term. If it's friendship, in any kind of environment, even if it's a short term project, I have to know like, okay, this was their first impression, so this is how I'm gonna treat them until the end of this particular project. And speaking of my first impression with you, it was a little bit different. And like, I've been in India for over 4 years, and when you first stepped into our classroom, I felt something different. The energy you brought was just so vibrant. The way you introduced yourself, the way you made us introduce ourselves to you, it gives this different kind of energy. And I even told my other friends, I'm like, I always like to observe people and maybe make my own judgment. Sometimes I'm wrong, but sometimes I'm correct. I'll be like, okay, this guy look exposed, and he's friendly and he's kind and he knows what he's doing, so I'll pay attention to his class. So your first impression in that classroom, it made me decide if I'm going to be listening, I'm going to be attentive student or not. And I want to know, how do you manage to keep that kind of energy when you go in the first environment for the first time? Everything is new, you don't know people. How do you maintain that?
All right. So if I'm going to be objectively honest here, I have to say put on a mask, right? Put on a mask. I mean mask in the positive sense, right? So because the word personality itself, if you look at Latin, it says the word persona, it means mask. So you have to use the masks. We use the masks many times in our lives throughout the day. Even in fact, throughout the day, every single day, we use the masks many times, right? With your mom, you wear a mask. With your dad, you wear a mask. With your siblings, you wear a mask. Yeah, it goes on. So wear that mask and use your head. That's all it is.
It was a smart move. I think every student in our classroom liked you for the very first time.
And I've not cultivated this skill, let's say.
Yeah.
I've been blessed by God, so I have it in me.
It's
Let's say
natural.
it's natural, it's innate.
Okay, blessings.
So that's what I am.
Yeah, I'm happy for you. Mr. D, Mr. Daniel, let's say today someone tells you you should take your toolbox and go into 1,000 miles journey and establish what we call life over there. what are the tools that you're going to pack in that toolbox for you to survive?
All right. Let's say three tools. Tool number one is, I would say, articulation, right? And tool number two, I would say, is perspicacity, and tool number three, I would say, is orientation. That's a very nice combo, I would say. I would take that.
Okay. Now I'm curious about this. Can you tell us a little bit more in details about the tools?
All right. So, okay, let's get this started. So when it comes to articulation, the first one, I would say, I would recommend you to read and write well. You should observe people, eminent leaders and authors who read and write well. So they have extraordinary articulation skills. That's one thing that's going to help you go ahead in life, number one. And number two is, with those, when you observe again those authors and those writers and those great personalities, they also have great perspicacity, which means clarity of thought. They are very clear about what they want, what they don't. So that's number two. And if you listen to Warren Buffett, right? This 89-year-old, 90-year-old, I'm not too sure about his age, right? He talks about orientation a lot of the times. So even in one interview, when he was asked by a reporter, what else, I mean, what do you need in life? He said, you don't need brains, you need the right orientation. So I like to observe these great personalities and just learn from them and pick up great insights from them. So I would call these nuggets, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Daniel would take articulation,
perspicacity.
Okay, you are a verbal faculty, I'm not. I would say clarity and then orientation. You should try to practice these tools in your life, and maybe you're gonna be somewhere great someday. As far as I understand that Mr. Daniel is my verbal faculty, I want him to take us through his university lifestyle path. So, do you still remember your college days? How was it like and everything?
Right.
It feels like yesterday, right?
Sometimes, yes.
So, what are those funniest moments you experienced when you were in university?
Right. It's very vivid. It's still fresh in my memory. Right. One instance where I was traveling by bus. All right. There was 27 kilometers, and when I boarded the bus, it was jam-packed. It was full, and I didn't have place to sit, so I had to pass my bag, give it to some person, and then I was standing. All right. And then there's this conductor collecting tickets, right? Collecting money and issuing tickets. And then there's one person sleeping, right? Taking the window seat and sleeping, right? Then the conductor tries his best to squeeze and then come, and then tries to wake this guy up, right, from his sleep. And then he wakes up, and the conductor asks him, "Where are you going?" And he says, "A place where the bus is not going." All right. And then this conductor said, "This bus doesn't go there." Right? Then immediately, within 2 seconds, that gentleman who woke up from his sleep, he asked the conductor, "Where's the bus going?" All right. And then I was watching this conversation unfold, and then the conductor said, "This is where the bus is going." So he said, "Give me that ticket." So I watched this conversation, right, between these two people, and I found this to be extremely hilarious. It might not sound that funny to you at the moment, but watching it from close quarters that time, because it taught me a lesson as well. It was hilarious, and it taught me a lesson, because this gentleman, I don't know, because he was sleepy, he didn't know where he was going, and he got in the wrong bus. That was extremely hilarious, number one. And number two, he didn't have any purpose in his life, right? So when it comes to purpose, the great philosopher Nietzsche, right? If you read Nietzsche, he says, those who are devoid of purpose will eventually make the void their purpose.
Okay.
Right? So you got to have some purpose in life. That man, sorry, in my estimation, had zero purpose in his life. Yet it was hilarious.
I said before, I'm a little bit observant, especially when I'm about to encounter somebody new in my life. I've observed you making social interactions even outside of the classrooms with so many other students, not just me, not just, everyone, let's say. And some of the students who have never even been in your class before, you have interacted with them in the outside environment.
Right.
How do you think that social interaction with the people, like the young people, the young generation, how do you think like it improves their life, and why do you maintain this kind of relationship with the youth?
All right, two things. Um, I have a very strong conviction, right? There's always this negative personalities, negative role models, and this positive role models.
Yeah.
I don't want to be anybody's negative role model,
Okay.
right? I want to be, um, let's say, the negative role model that nobody wants to see,
Okay.
right? So nobody wants me to, I don't want students to think that this guy is arrogant.
Yeah.
He's superior. He thinks he's superior to
Yeah.
others. So you got to be down to earth. Go and meet them and say hello. How are you doing? And be friendly, right?
Yeah.
So that's, you might think that's very small, right?
Mhm.
You don't know what they're going through. So you've got to put that smile on their face.
Yeah.
I think that's what is paramount. It's very, very important. It's significant. Right.
Okay, so apparently Mr. Daniel moved to our college when I had to experience a tragic moment of my life, and him being there, him being available outside my classroom, it helped me to heal. I remember one day I was just in this tight spot where I could look around and feel like, I have nobody to talk about. And when I went to approach him and try to open up and express whatever I was going through, he was of great help. That's why I said in the beginning, like, even if he didn't know it, he plays a big part as my mentor in my life, because from the day that I talked to him, I had to take life in a different perspective. I had to treat myself in a different way, and I think it was very useful for my peace of mind. Even if you didn't know that, I'm telling you now, and I appreciate you for that. I'm so grateful that you came into my life, and I can say it was just the right time, because you being available outside of classroom, it helped me to see you in class and feel like even if something is bothering me inside of the classroom, I can still address it. Outside of the classroom, I can still find you and you can be of great help. So I think it's a greatest quality of any faculty.
Classes happen outside classrooms as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it does, right?
You did well.
Effective classes, effective lessons are learned outside classrooms
Yeah,
most of the time.
I admit that. Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel. I've had my faculty on my talk show. I want to speak on behalf of every student. Students who like to feel understood, heard, and respected, like the same respect we give to a teacher in class, even outside of the class, we want to attain it back. And I think so far, so good. My faculty has been practicing those qualities, and yeah, he stands as a positive role model, and I'm a witness. So thank you so much for coming to the Talk with G show. I'm happy to have you, sir.
Thanks for having me, Eglaheims.
Yeah.
Yeah, look
Yeah.
forward to meeting you more.
More and more and more, and I'll be happy to have you again.
Right.
So thank you guys for watching us, and me and my faculty, Mr. Daniel, Mr. D, together we are saying bye bye.
Bye.